Hello, and welcome to the Clock and Talk, an Arsenal podcast. How are we, lads?
Yeah, I'm good. Good of you to finally accept me and let me in. I know you get jealous that everyone calls me the star of the show and it wouldn't be the same without me and all that stuff. And I know it's true, but you still have to let me on the show.
I don't know what actually was going on then because I was doing some test drives on this new platform we use, and I thought, we'll do a little countdown timer. So that's what was actually going on. I don't know if you lads could hear it or not, but
We couldn't
the
hear it, we
music.
could see it, but it just told us you're backstage. So like couldn't do anything. Like if we spoke, obviously our mics went on and whatnot.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Just random shit. Jack, how are you, buddy? Yeah, Jack's not with us. Hello,
Hi.
Jack.
You know,
Hey,
Yeah.
mate, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, mate. You loved that music, didn't you?
I got to be honest, I didn't really hear any of the music. All I could kind of see was just a countdown, and you were typing in something like 4K countdown time audio or something on your search bar.
Okay, lads. Addy was going to join us, but I haven't heard from him, seen him, or anything. I got a thumbs up about 2 hours ago. So
He's just put in the group chat, guy. I'm gonna have to give tonight a miss. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. So Addy won't be joining us. Okay, boys, let's get it on. West Ham. What a fucking... I don't even know where to start with this. Tony, let's go back to what we used to do, I suppose, and talk about the lineup first, mate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously KT was pulled out. He was named in the team and then pulled out. I think pretty much as expected. I think Liam predicted the lineup on the preview show. Obviously, Saka playing wide rather than making Niles is seen as a bit more of an attacking threat. And then Ceballos coming in for El Neni, again, more attacking links that play better going forward, were the only changes from Fulham. So I think it was a pretty predictable lineup. Obviously, not ideal that Kolasinac had to come in, and maybe not. Well, it wouldn't have been what I would have done, but I don't know if he didn't want to shift Gabriel with only sort of 20 minutes notice to a different position, because I personally would have brought Luiz in the middle of the three and put Gabriel on the left, but maybe just thinks he's not ready for that yet. That's obviously how we finished the game. But it's I just think with obviously new signing, I think it's where he's eventually going to play, but with 10 minutes notice or 20 minutes notice, you don't want to go, oh, by the way, mate, new position today. You got to unmute yourself, Ted.
That might help. That might help. I seen a tweet or something go out earlier in the week. Saliba, he was playing in the young teams, so I presume that's just fitness thing, I'd imagine. But yeah, I did. Was that true or what? I don't watch the game. I can't get.
Yeah, no, that was true. I mean, I presume that he'll have his debut tomorrow for us in the cup against Leicester.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jack, your thoughts on the lineup, mate?
I thought it was a weird one. I expected it, but I was surprised to see Saka play wing back. I probably would have played Ainsley there. And I probably would have pushed Saka a bit further forward, maybe for that creativity. I thought apart from I thought Saka was quite quiet in spells as well. Obviously, when you lose a player like Tierney, though, you are going to be a lot weaker at the back, and I think that was obvious really by our lack of structure at some moments. I mean, you could really see where we were missing Kieran, and I think it's safe to say that if he was playing, I reckon it would have been a completely different game.
West Ham are a team that I had in my relegation, Tony, from my predictions. But mate, I'll be honest, okay, we got the 3 points, but they surprised me a little bit. Like there was a couple of shots early in the game, and I thought, oh shit.
I mean, I feel like I'm saying it on here all the time that any team that doesn't press us, we struggle with. And as soon as I saw they'd gone to a back five, I thought, and then with two holding midfielders, I thought they're not going to come and try and win the ball high up. They're going to hit us on the break with Antonio, who's quick, strong. For me, he's possibly the best athlete in the Premier League, off the top of my head. But there might be someone quicker, but not with his strength, or there'll be someone stronger, but not with his pace. I'm not saying he's the best footballer, but
I mean, could you not argue Gareth Bale?
Bale at 23, yeah, Bale now. Wait and see. His hamstring pops every 2 weeks. So for me, as soon as I saw their lineup, I knew we was going to be in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but I knew it was going to be a hard day. I spoke to Jack about it earlier in the week, and obviously they played a back five, and then Declan Rice, who has played a lot of his career at centre back as one of the holding midfielders. You know that team's not going to come and try and get the ball off you. And that is the issue we've had all along, breaking teams down that sit deep. I think pretty much since Arteta's been in, we haven't really managed to break teams down successfully. There's been the odd game, but not really. It's not been a consistent thing. It's been a bit of magic usually that starts a goal. So yeah, I mean, look, I never thought they'd go down anyway. I didn't have them in my three, but they always do quite well at the Emirates, to be fair. But yeah, it was a difficult game, probably harder than I was expecting, but I didn't expect us to be as bad as we were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we weren't pretty, Jack. Let's face it.
I mean, look, you say that, but then these are the games which kind of get you success. These are the games that get you in the top four, even to win a league. These gritty games where you show that mentality to keep the fight up, and that when that opportunity comes, you jump to it and you poach. And to be fair, you have to win these sorts of games, and you can't. I wouldn't discredit the team for it. I mean, it was a lot harder than it should have been, but at least we got the 3 points and we showed that resilience, which in past years we would have probably rolled over and lost the game under Emery, for example.
Okay, Tony. Let's talk about obviously the first goal, 25th minute. Lovely little chip back by Aubameyang to Lacazette, mate. And don't quote me on this. Once again, I seen somebody, and I'm very gullible for seeing stuff. 50 goals, Lacazette for the Arsenal.
Yeah, that was his 50th. We broke the lines just before that, where William played Lacazette in, and he didn't quite get a shot off. I think his first touch was too close to his body, and then he took another one, and it went too far away from his body, and then it got blocked or he got crowded out. I can't remember what happened, but he didn't get a shot off. And then after that, we done nothing. And I thought, oh, here we go. If only we took that chance. Blah 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 blah. And then the next time we broke the line was the goal. Saka's ball to Aubameyang timed perfectly. Aubameyang's ball was unreal for his weaker foot, and because he's in the area, sometimes it's really hard to get it up and down over a short distance. Like we always say, a free kick on the edge of the area is harder to score than one 25 yards out, because it's hard to get it up and down. And Aubameyang on his weaker foot has managed to get the ball up and down over such a short space. I think I've not seen anyone credit William for the run. He took away two defenders, which left Lacazette in absolute acres, and you can't miss from there. And he didn't. He's obviously put it in. Great goal, and it shows what we're capable of. And I'd argue that, as I said before, it's one of the first times we successfully broke a team down. Long time.
I just like the idea Lacazette was there. Like usually I'm looking at my TV and Lacazette's so far back and so deep that he's not there. So I was just great. Hey, obviously Arteta's got him running more forward as opposed to going more back. And it looks like Williams going back a bit because he's a pretty good defender, William too. So it looks like he's doing the drop backs as well.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have I said on here that I don't even often mind if Lacazette misses chances as long as they're not gilt edged, because at least he's in the position. I've moaned so many times about what you just said, him being 30 yards away from the play. That when he's there, as you said, I'm just happy he's there. But I mean, with chances like that, you have to score. I'll forgive him missing some chances, but things like that, you can't forgive. Like you have to score that at any level. It's funny. I listened to the preview show of the West Ham game with Darren, Liam, the Aussie guy, the half brother, I forget which
Max. Yep.
Sorry. And the West Ham fan. And Darren said he was surprised that I gave Lacazette free because he knows one against Fulham. Sorry, because he knows I'm not his biggest fan, and he actually didn't think Lacazette played well. And for me, it was purely because he was in the position. He got the goal, obviously, and he missed a couple of chances, but he was in the positions I want to see our number 9 in. For me, I prefer this type of Lacazette, and I mean, obviously, we started this podcast the year we signed him, and I think I've moaned about him pretty much every week about him not his positioning being terrible. So now, when he's in the right positions, I'm going to give him credit for it.
50 goals. I wonder how many. I'd never seen how many games that was.
It was about 130. They did say, and I remember thinking it was about 2.5 games per goal.
It's not bad.
I mean, it is.
Mm.
If you put
It's
that
not
down,
great for 50 million.
It's not. Yeah, but it's not.
Season, say 38 games. So you're looking at about 11 or 12 league goals, 12 or 13 league goals. 14 to 15 league goals, which for a £50 million number 9 is not fantastic. And I know he brings you more, but the goal record in isolation isn't good.
You are having a bit of troubles with your mic. It is scratching and carrying on, so I'll see if you can tidy that up in the meantime. Jack, your thoughts on that, and then moving into just on half time, and we concede one.
No, I completely agree with Tony's points on Lacazette there. In regards to the goal, I feel like it was. I mean, I think it was on Kolasinac's side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the game feels like ages ago now. It was, in my opinion, that we should never have put in that position in the first place. I thought Kolasinac throughout the game was poor, but the goal to me highlighted it. It was a good finish. I don't think Leno could have done much about it. And we went into half time conceding at what is arguably the worst possible time you can concede a goal, because the momentum is then going to be with West Ham into the break, and then the manager can play with that. And we saw that in the second half when they came out firing at us. They had a lot of quick chances. I think they hit the bar at one point, and they looked really good. But we made some tactical substitutions. Like Eddie coming on for Lacazette was a good sub, because look, I don't think Lacazette has the fitness to keep up that intensity for the game, and Eddie does have that, and he is very tenacious, and that paid off with a very well worked goal. And as said before, these are the sorts of games you have to win to push yourself up in the table. And yes, it was scrappy, but I have no problems if it's scrappy as long as we're winning the games. And we would never. This is a game where even in the late stages of Wenger and Unai, as just said before, we would have always struggled, and we probably would have lost the game. And the mentality alone, just to keep that fighting spirit up and to actually get the 3 points, I actually take as a massive positive from us, because it's something that we haven't shown in recent years.
I did listen to Darren and the boys when they did the preview. I think that West Ham fan, I think he was, as much as I wanted to reach out the lifeline for the poor cunt, he actually predicted I think it was a 3-1 result for West Ham, and I was like, wow, after everything you just said. But they just did really worry me, West Ham. Like they were threatening. I thought at 1-1, I thought, shit, anything's going to happen here.
I feel like with West Ham, they either give us a good game or they completely roll over.
Yeah,
it kind of depends when we catch them.
I don't listen to West Ham podcasts. I don't hear many from West Ham fans, but I don't think they would be disappointed with that game. Tony, we come out. Pepe came on for Willian, which I know Pepe's got to come on there somewhere, but Willian he's in good form. But he had you mentioned the defenders that he took with him, and let Lacazette score that goal as well. William was okay. He was pretty good actually, but he didn't get my 3 like he did last week. But they can't every week. But then I just say quickly? I thought it was an odd one.
Can I just say quickly? I actually don't think Willian had that great a game at all. I think he looked quite stale and rusty and a bit blunt in his play. I actually think when Pepe came on, we looked a lot more lively.
Tony?
For me, I didn't think William played well either, but stylistically, it was all wrong. As I said, in the middle of the pitch, they had three centre-backs, and then Rice, who is obviously a holding midfielder / centre-back. Souček, who, although he gets quite a lot of goals because he's 87 foot tall, is quite defensive-minded. And William was playing sort of inside. He wasn't hugging the touchline, and that might not be his fault. It might be what he was told to do on that game. But it just meant that their left back, Masuaku, was having to do absolutely no defending, and that's the worst part of his game. Masuaku could go forward. He can't defend to save his life, but he wasn't asked to do anything because William was tucked inside where they, as I said, they had 3 centre-backs and 2 holding midfielders, and it just made everything too narrow. And it also defensively caused us a problem because Masuaku wasn't worried about getting driven back. He was pushing on higher and higher and starting delivering balls into the box. They had one very good chance from his cross, and think another one as well, but one they should have scored came from Masuaku having absolute acres and putting a cross in. And I think the difference when Pepe came on, I thought Pepe actually could have done a bit more, but the difference when he came on is he hugged the touchline and the defence was scared of him running in behind or running at them and beating them. So then they kind of dropped 5 yards, whereas with Willian always coming to the ball, even when he was one-on-one, he wasn't really taking them on. He was trying to pick the cross early or laying a simple ball back. It just gave them a lot less to think about. So I think Pepe, it's a weird one because I think what he actually done with the ball wasn't that great, especially compared to what we've seen him do before. But just the way he made them think and his style of play suited the game much, much better. And I think they, if you look at their lineup, I actually think they expected Pepe to start because they played Masuaku at left wing back, but then they played Cresswell at left centre back, who's obviously a left back by trade, so it was almost like they were going to double up on him. I know we do that, but it's different. We push out with the ball. They weren't trying to play out from the back at all. They were going long or long to Antonio. They weren't using the third centre back as an outball like we did. So I actually think they were expecting Pepe because he gave them loads of trouble last year, especially at the Olympic Stadium. And then I think they got off quite lightly with William, just stylistically. And there'll be other games where his style works perfect for us and is a better fit than what Pepe would be. I just don't think that was one of them.
Up until the 85th minute, I'm still shitting myself, and I think to myself, and this is going to end in a draw. And then Eddie scores. Jack, assist by Ceballos.
Look, it was a great goal. It was really well worked, and as I said, it's exactly the sort of thing that you need in those sorts of situations, and it's a mentality that we didn't have. And I think rather than saying, "Oh, we struggled to beat West Ham," it should be more a case of we would have struggled to beat anyone in that situation. And I think it's just another example that the days of our success could be coming back because, as I said, we would never have won. We would never have picked up those points. We would always have found a way to slip up, and we didn't. And credit for that has to go to the manager for installing a much greater winning mentality.
I know we're all in an Arteta loving, and I'm up there as much as anyone else, but a Wenger team beats that West Ham team very, very easily.
Maybe not a latter Wenger team.
They lost to West Ham at home anyway. I think they lost once at the Emirates, and that was the first game. But a team that parked the bus like that and said, "Go on, try and create anything," that was made for a Wenger team. That's a game that's over by half time, and they give up, and we're going with 3 or 4 now.
Well, definitely not under Emery.
Let's not start on Emery's teams. Hey, look, as we can. I don't know, Tony. Is there anything else really like you want to talk about in this match? Before we do our 3-2-1
on the goal again, Saka breaking the lines. I think we probably broke the lines no more than 5 times in the game, and at least 2 of them were Saka. I don't think he played well, but he basically had a match-winning contribution. Because both the goals without his passing, and it's not like they were basic 2-yard passes, he made the incisive pass on both goals. It's a strange one because I still don't think he's ready to start week in, week out, and I think his whole 90 minutes performance showed why. But when you can produce moments like that, you start with, it becomes the argument, well, maybe he's not great for 90 minutes, but if he's going to pull something out of the hat, is he always worth having on the pitch?
Jack?
Sums it up very well there, if I got to be honest. So I think Tony had it spot on there.
I know. He gives you nothing.
Can't really disagree with that.
He gives you nothing, does he? Like it's you can't even go, "Oh yeah, I disagree with you." Yeah.
I mean, what happens when you're
right? Anything else you want to mention about the game, Jack? Before we do our 3-2-1s?
I kind of think I've got everything on the actual game sorted for on that front.
Yep. I did see, and I'll just talk about a couple of players. I thought Aubameyang, as usual, excellent. I'm glad we paid him for whatever we paid him. I forgot to mention last week on the podcast about the Aubameyang signing, but the boys did handle it on the review podcast, so that was good. The preview podcast, I get all fucking confused myself. I've seen a lot of people criticising Granit, saying that he was very, very slow once again, didn't offer much. I see these people tweeting, and look, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but I don't know what they expect from Granit. That's my problem. I don't know. What do you want? Do you want assists? Do you want goals from a Granit Xhaka? And you're never going to get that. So I'm not saying he was, man of the match performance, but I don't think he was as bad as people criticised, Tony.
I thought he was horrendous in the first half. Second half, I thought he was okay. I think one of our better players in the second half. Didn't do anything excellent, but I thought everyone was pretty poor, really. But I thought the first half was as bad as I've seen him in a long, long time. But as Arteta said, I mean, the first 15 minutes were an absolute joke. I don't know if you saw Arteta's interview after the game where he said it's probably the best week we've had training with him since he's been at the club, and then the worst 15 minutes of football he's seen since he's been at the club. He also said there's no tactics on earth that will work if your players can't pass the ball 2 yards. And that wasn't singled out at any one player, but where it's Granit and Ceballos that you expect to make them passes, it was them two that, for me, deserve most of the criticism for that first half, because we just couldn't pass the ball to each other. And when they're the guys that make 90% of passes, and I don't know what the actual number was, but they're missing 2 or 3 yard balls, you've got to point it out. I know that some people would have loved it. They would have taken they can't wait for Xhaka to be bad so they can pick it up. I'm not one of them, but I just thought the first half, him and Ceballos were both horrendous. I don't know. Ceballos was class for the second goal because I think 90% of people shoot there. But I don't know how he's still on the pitch, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Right, let's do a 3-2-1. Tony, give us your 3. Jack, you're writing this down, aren't you?
Yes.
Right, I'll go do our 3 each, then our 2 each, and our 1 each. Because I'll be honest, we haven't got much questions.
That's because you forgot to put out the tweet. I don't think you put out the recording.
I put it out 24 hours ago, but I thought maybe there's not many people wanting to ask questions. So, and then I thought maybe people want to do it live, so people might drop their questions. One day we sat here for nearly 2.5 hours answering questions. So, yeah, but true. It is good because I haven't got Darren criticising this next week that we've been going for an hour and 50 minutes or something. So
that's just because he can't be bothered to listen for that long.
Yeah, that's right. So Tony, give us your 3.
I don't think anyone played well. I'm going to give it to Saka because of his 2 game-winning contributions. As I said, over the 90 minutes, he didn't play well, but when it's like a striker that plays shit and scores 2 goals, if you win 2-1, you give it to them, and I think Saka had a big impact on both goals.
Mm-hmm. Jack?
I'd probably give it to Gabriel. I think he was really solid at the back. I couldn't really fault his performance. I think he had another outstanding game where he commanded it, and he kind of starting to show his worth quite early on, which I think is really impressive when you come from a league like the French league.
Yeah, Halls of Marble TV says Gabriel 2 is for his 3. I don't know. It's a game that, look, an assist by Aubameyang, that was really good for Lacazette. I am leaning towards Aubameyang for 3. It's doesn't mean he had an outstanding game. He scored me a few points in my fantasy league as well. Would have liked to see him get a goal though, but yeah.
How many points has your thing actually got? Because your team at the beginning was diabolical.
Mate, my team's awesome. I'm going to touch on this shit later. So look, Aubameyang a 3, and it's really hard to say who was outstanding, but that was just a piece of brilliance for me. Chipped it back to a Lacazette, and I was like, yeah, that you know what I mean. I stood up and I went, fucking look at that shit. Yeah. So Aubameyang, he gets my 3. Tony, your 2.
I'm massively stumped on the 2 and 1 because, as I said, I don't think anyone played well, and I gave it to Saka because of his goal contribution. So I'm kind of going to go down the same route as you. I'm going to give Aubameyang the 2. Obviously, the assist, I think he done pretty much fucking well, but I can't think of anything else he done wrong. And he was a winning runner in behind. The reason I'm going for him over Lacazette, because I know people go, but Lacazette got the goal and Aubameyang only assisted it, is because I think Lacazette missed a couple of other chances. His touch was as bad as I've ever seen it. He didn't hold the ball up, which is what you need against the back 3/5. So Aubameyang with don't really want to give him it, to be honest.
Okay. Jack?
I would probably give my 2 to Aubameyang because I think he overall had a much better game than Lacazette. I know. Are we doing the ones as well now, or not?
No, if you
Okay,
might as well. No, just wait. We'll just build this shit up. We should start at 1 and build up to 3, shouldn't we?
That would make more sense, to be fair.
Yeah, I know. Look, part of me wants to say I'm with you boys, but part of me wants to say Leno. And
I was thinking that.
and I think I'm going to go Leno because, like, I'm thinking to myself, there was probably 1-2 good chances where West Ham could have scored, and he made the saves. Like, we could be talking this game where we've lost 3-1.
Did he make a save that you wouldn't have?
Did he? I don't know. Look, I'm not a goalkeeper, mate. I'm a striker.
No, but again, this is something I hate that shots on target is a stat.
I know what you say. Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
57 saves, but 10 of them he was having a fag while he was doing it. Not Leno, obviously. I think Leno's often keeper. It's just a stat that pisses me off because you can look at it now and say he made however many against West Ham. I don't know. But,
yeah, I don't know either.
It's not a save if your average bloke on the street.
So he made 2 saves, 1 diving save, one from inside the box, couple of punches, 1 punch. So yeah, but there was one there that early in the piece, about the 20th minute, and I thought to myself, oh shit. I think it was right in the middle of the stick. So in answer to your question, yeah, maybe it was very easy save. Would have been good to have Addy on at the moment, but anyway, I have to stick with it. Leno will get me 2. Give us your 1, Tony.
Just put all the names in a random generator and see what one comes out.
Mine's quite easy, I actually think.
Well, go on, Jack. Well, you got yours, Tony, or what?
Yeah,
Eddie came on and scored.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lacazette for a very similar reason. He worked hard tonight, out many minutes and got a goal. I don't think he played well. As I said, if you could say all 3 of my 3-2-1 today were shit, and I'd agree with you. Like that's hard.
I hear you. It's hard. It is hard, but we try our best to do a 3-2-1, and look, we've all got different opinions on it.
The FA Cup final where we was it could have been any of them, or the Man City game in the FA Cup, I think it was, where it was felt unfair to not have someone in the top 3. Now I feel I'm putting them in.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I looked at Lacazette as well for scoring the goal, but I'm more on Ceballos, I think, for the 1. I like that assist that he get. I'd expect the Lacazette to score. I expect Eddie to score them goals. Like, for me, they're goals that if they didn't score them goals, I'd be going, what the fuck are you doing playing at the front of Arsenal? Like, hello. The ball got there to them, so I have to award the guys who got the ball, and Aubameyang got the ball to Lacazette. That's why he got my 3. Ceballos got the ball to Eddie, and that's why he'll get my 1. Okay, you happy with that?
I'd say so.
Yep. Righto. No one's arguing. Max says, hello boys. How are we, Max? He's doing the preview stuff with Darren. You can catch them boys. Usually on a Thursday, Darren records. So hopefully he will be. Well, he was a bit more friendlier for Max last week. It was about 6 a.m. my time. So questions. We have Halls of Marble says 3-2-1 was Gabriel, 3-2 Ceballos, 1 Lacazette. He also says Xhaka had some long balls, but then the midfield overall was weak, and West Ham's game plan nullified it. I'm sitting and I've got the sun behind me, and the glare on my computer just makes it fucking difficult at the moment. Xhaka is in. Let me have a look. Let's get this up. Xhaka is a year 9 stats per low. No dig on him, But then to get the best from him, we need forward runners. He's better for Switzerland because he fits into their system, Tony.
It's hard to always take off Switzerland, and it people go off because of the slower tempo. I just think, what are you doing? I just think because especially with West Ham sitting so deep, as I said, there was no runners in behind. William comes to the ball. Lacazette wanted to see Aubameyang to an extent runs behind, but there wasn't much room, and they had to fight defenders. Keep pointing out. So then it was only left for really short passes, and you kind of, when that happens, you kind of think, well, anyone could have done that. He did make for the first goal actually, and the commentator, who was it? Whoever was commentating on Sky Sports made a big point of pointing out it was actually Xhaka that broke the lines for the first goal to get it to Saka, and then Saka was the one that broke the defensive line. So I guess he did try, but if you look in that central area, and we had no 10, and Saka does stay semi-wide quite a lot. So there's no one in them areas to make the ball, which is also a problem, and that's not Xhaka's fault. It's not. I don't really think it's anyone's fault. But if you look at where Xhaka and Ceballos had to pass the ball, it was either to Bellerin or Saka, who were quite wide. Willian was coming into no man's land, and Aubameyang and Lacazette are drifting about. They're actually, maybe you can credit West Ham for it, but also a bit of a mistake from us. There wasn't actually many passing options on for them. So as much as I say I think they played bad and the balls they played were either poor or uninventive, you've also got to look at the options they had, and I don't think they were too many.
Tony, PM Dungal. Tony, where would you send Reece on loan? Back to Germany or a Premier League club?
I was talking about it earlier in the group chat. I think it has to be a year in the Premier League. But then I was trying to put a club on it because you want somewhere where he's going to start 60% of games, maybe more, but at least 60% of games. And I'm trying to think what that club is. And I'm really struggling.
Yeah. Premier League. Well, it'd have to be a Fulham or one of them teams that we thought were going to get relegated.
Yeah, I mean, Fulham came to mind because he's. I mean, they didn't against us. I can't remember if they played on the right wing. Nathan Savannah, I think. Against Leeds, they played. Is it Boubacar Kamara, AK-47? I can't remember what his first name is, but it's Kamara 47. And he's a pure athlete. He's not a footballer. And Reece is not as much of an athlete, but he's a better footballer, and he's still quick enough to sort of carry the ball. I think Reece's best asset is he can carry the ball sort of 30, 40 yards pretty consistently. And when you're a team like Fulham, someone that can drag you up the pitch like that is a massive help. I was thinking Fulham, Palace, could he displace Andros Townsend who plays on the right? Half a chance, maybe. But yeah, I'm trying to think that sort of level, but who needs a right winger? Because I only want to see him play on the right. I don't want to see him play anywhere else. So a Premier League team where he's going to get 60% games starting on the right. From that, take what you fancy. Pick a team within that mould.
Okay, hang on. Jack's having troubles here, so I'm trying to work shit in the background as we speak because I don't know what he's fucking doing. Like, man can't fucking sort his shit out fair dinkum.
I've got it sorted now. My laptop just seemed to have crashed out of nowhere. It was really weird.
What are you running? Fucking Windows 92 or something?
No, I had to do it on my iPad instead. It's all still sorted now. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Reece Nelson, we were talking about it. Tony, we were talking about Premier League clubs. Fulham come to mind, or does he go out to Germany?
I think he needs to have. I think Reece is a player with a lot of potential. That's evident. I think we can all kind of agree with that. I think he needs minutes more than anything to be able to establish himself to the player that he deserves to be. And I think to see whether that is there, I think we need to send him probably to a more established Premier League, not like a Premier League club, just somewhere where he'll get minutes, but he'll be guaranteed game time. I mean, look, there's reports that we could send him on loan to Palace for a year as part of a Zaha deal. I mean, that would be amazing. But other alternatives would be, somewhere maybe like Fulham, maybe somewhere like Leeds might want him, but then they didn't exactly do a great job with Eddie. Just not.
Okay, Costa there. I'm just looking at the table now. Newcastle's not a bad shout because Maximan plays on the left. But then they've just signed Fraser. Villa's Villa's a half decent shout. But
He could play quite well there, I reckon.
yeah, I mean, and Southampton, sort of Redmond on the left, on the right, they play Armstrong tucking in, but it gives them an option of pace on the other side because at the moment they've got no right
Brighton?
wingers. Well, they play 5 and Lamptey's playing out of his skin at wing back, so they won't want anyone to get in his way. I had looked at them, but the way Lamptey's playing, they're just going to give him that whole right side.
He looks quality.
Fuck you lads doing on a fucking microphone, jamming it up your asses or something. Fair deal. Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe somewhere in Italy too might be good.
Nah, completely different kind of style to the Premier League. I think he needs a year in England because he was decent in Germany when he was out there at where was it?
Championships are no good. Down.
I think he's too good for the Championship. I think it'd be a bit demoralising to send him to the Championship after he was playing quite a lot in the restart.
Interesting. I'm just going through the questions. There was another couple here. Max is talking about Granite. He's fine technical with the ball, but he's still a train wreck off the ball. This is coming from an Ozil fan, so fuck me.
I don't think he's as bad off the ball as people make out, to be honest. His problem is he's slow to turn, and so once you've got past him, he is not. He is slow to turn and chase, and he's hard to track him back as well. He is terrible like that as well.
On the ball, he is.
On the ball, he's brilliant.
Even the fouls he wins alone bring so much. To the
team. He's the best diver in the league. I say it all the time.
Oh yeah, he's good at that.
I saw someone say the other day, he's got no press resistance at all. I thought you either don't like him or you're watching something else because he dives. I'm not saying it's legitimate, but he wins a free kick from every time he's pressed. He dives and wins a free kick. It's so rare that he doesn't win a free kick. And I'm like, how can you say it's not press resistant? Maybe you want something different, but getting fouled is a form of press resistance because you haven't given the ball away.
You know who's fucking brilliant? I've only watched him 2 games in the Premier League, and that's Everton. They've signed James Rodriguez, and he is, I tell you, he's fucking brilliant at winning a fucking penalty. I was like, fucking have a go. I obviously watch him play. I don't watch much German football, but used to watch him a little bit. And we've seen the World Cup when he was, smashing goals in and whatnot. But that was quite a few years ago. But then watching him in Everton, I watched the 2 games, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
He looks a real player, doesn't he?
He looks really good.
For me, I mean, I've seen him loads, and I think he's good. But people are going very over the top. Against Tottenham, he was nothing more than good. And I was talking to one of my friends.
First game of the Premier League.
But people were going on as if it was the fucking second coming of Jesus. And if that Tottenham game, if Ozil had that same game, people would have criticised him because he created no key chances, didn't get an assist, and missed 2 very good chances himself. Against West Brom, he was excellent. But 1, it's West Brom. 2, he was only really excellent once they went down to 10 men. And the commentators here kept wanking over, he keeps finding the ball to Dino. Of course he does. They're down to 10 men. The switch is, when someone's down to 10 men, the switch is the most obvious ball you can play because the team shuffle over to the side where the ball is, you switch it, and there's no defenders there. He was very good, but I mean, I think people that he was amazing. Yeah, he was, but look at the context. And don't get me wrong, he's very good. I've watched loads of him when at Madrid, and it's easy. He gets his head down. I mean, his head drops when the team aren't doing well or if he's not playing well. So wait till they're playing better teams, and wait till December when it's cold and they're playing every 3 games, and he's used to South America or Spain. And then let's see what's going on with him. And people are claiming him to be.
I'm not saying he's Jesus, but I'm just saying he had a really good game last weekend. I agree with Tottenham, and I agree with what you're saying with West Brom. They did go the end of the 10 men, but mate, there was some fucking pinpoint passes.
He's technically excellent. If you give him time, he is technically unreal. And I think one of the goals, he didn't get the assist for it, I'm not even sure if a goal came from it, but
He should have got the assist.
through ball that was outrageous. A little thing through. Like I'm not technically he's fantastic, but wait till someone starts kicking him and not giving him the time, and then see what happens.
Yeah, Rodriguez Halls of Marble was okay at Real Madrid in his career. Never been world class. Good, not but top level players. Yeah. Who else we got here? Halls of Marble. He's asking, with Party, Granite would step up. It's all about the system with him. Look, obviously, I don't know if we're signing this Partey or what the go is. From reports, it's between him and who's the other bloke? What's his
it
name?
seems to be, according to the journalists, it's not either or. If we can get both, we will get both, and we're pushing hard for them both.
Yeah. So look, if we get, but where does Granite fit now? If these two blokes come in, because I've seen a lot of people say Granite will not start, and I'm like,
Yes, he will.
yeah,
Xhaka,
I think
Partey,
he will.
Howard. That's a perfect midfield three.
Tony.
Yeah, I mean, if we go to a 3, and then it depends on who you're playing as well, because if you're playing like that game against West Ham the other day, you probably drop Xhaka and you go with Partey sitting a slightly bit deeper. It's not ideal for him, but he can play there. Partey sitting a bit deeper. Ceballos, a link man, and our more of a 10, not exactly a 10 as a roaming 8. But then if you're a team where it's going to be a bit more physical and you're going to be a bit more defensive minded, you go with Granite. And we've got so many games. We're basically playing every 3 days for the rest of the season. Most teams are, not just us. So if you say them 4 are your top 4, and even if you're only picking 2 or 3 of them, then they're going to be playing every week. So they might miss the Premier League and then play in the Cup and vice versa, and there'll be loads of mixing and matching. I mean, first of all, we've got to sign them.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a problem that we've always said we love to have, and we've envied teams like City.
Oh my, it's a brilliant headache to have. Absolutely brilliant headache to have, and we can change things up. We can change styles. We can change tactics. Like my biggest worry, my biggest problem, and I don't want to get on this debate of when we lost Giroud, but we lost an option. We lost a big tall fucker in the middle to use his fucking head to score goals. But anyway, that's another debate. Marble Halls TV says combined Everton Arsenal 11 would have no, he doesn't say I would have 9 Arsenal players. Richardson is Brazilian international, but in output terms isn't any better than our forwards. He is the most overrated player in the Premier League in my mind. He's absolutely fucking useless. Tony?
Didn't you have him in your fantasy team and he missed an open goal, so you're crying about it?
I would not have him. He wouldn't get in my fantasy team if he scored fucking hat trick after hat trick. He's mate. I think it was the first game. Did he miss one in front? It was
Yeah, he went Tottenham. He went around the keeper.
I'm like, you are fucking kidding. I don't care. He's not on my team, but fuck me. Absolutely. I don't know what people say him. I really don't.
I quite like him. I agree that he's out there. He's brilliant, but he makes he just makes things happen. Look, he's not. I think they paid 50 million for him. That's outrageous. But he's direct. He's quick. He'll have a go. He's a decent player. I mean, we've had a hell of a lot worse.
Combined Arsenal 11. Does any of that Everton team get in your combined Arsenal 11 up front?
Yeah. I mean, if we're going on this base of right now, I mean, they're probably, I'd say, apart from, maybe go Xhaka, Allen, Rodriguez.
Rodriguez gets in my team.
The front 3, you probably go Pepe, Calvert-Lewin, Aubameyang. Tierney gets the left back. I'd say that Gabriel and Louise will probably get the centre back slots. Better will probably get right back, and then I would take it over Pickford.
Yeah, I think the only real debate is, and it's a hard debate to have after Calvert-Lewin just got a hat trick, and I quite like Calvert-Lewin, but I said to people in the summer, would you take him? And everyone said, no, he's shit. I think I was the only one that didn't think he was shit. So, but now if I said, like it would be in our team, everyone's going to call me a cunt because Calvert-Lewin just got a hat trick. So, I mean, I think there's a bit of a debate there. I would probably have Calvert-Lewin, to be honest. said I wouldn't have Hammers yet. But again, it depends. We're playing a 5 at the back. They're playing a 4. If you go 5 at the back, Hammers doesn't get near anyone's team, or he shouldn't do. But I hate these things.
Yeah, I'd swap Pepe for Walcott though.
I'd swap a Bamiyang for a Iwobi.
Yeah, Iwobi. Yeah, that's right. He's there. Look, I'm with Tony. I hate apps. I just, it's never going to happen. These combined shit, and I hate trying to fucking work it all out too. So, as you're talking, I'm thinking, I'm trying to think of centre backs, Everton. I'm like, you know what? I just, yeah, okay, there you go. I don't mind. Pickford, we had a chat on him the other day, didn't we? That was the other night. I asked everybody in the group chat thoughts on Pickford, and yeah, there wasn't many on his favour, so yeah, definitely let know over that. Max says, fuck pick and start in 11. Strong squads, drive standards. If they're in form, they play. There's plenty of comps. Yeah. Okay, I've got some questions on Twitter, and then we might talk a few transfers, lads.
And maybe we should also discuss maybe a mini preview for the Leicester game tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I was going to do that as well. Give me a sec. I'm just digging out these questions.
Just while you're doing it, Archie said Ornstein's hinting Kroenke might let Arsenal spend some cash reserves for our top targets.
Can I just butt in there quickly, Tony? We have the money. Kroenke's given us money to liquidate all of our debt, and then to have complete control of our money. Kroenke's put money into the club already. He has we have the funds available now. We're not accountable to any bank or any loan because all our loans now are through KSE made deliberately. So I mean, I don't think financially there would be a problem here at all. I mean, based on the logic that we've had 160 million reserve, which was left for insurance for our loans, that in itself should say that the money is there if we choose to spend it. I mean, Vidnai's also come out and has said specifically that the coronavirus won't impact how we are around the team, and that we're still going to be able to spend the same way, and that's why we've made certain cuts and whatnot, and that we're still, and for everything he said, it shows that even with the prospect of maybe having a delay to going to stadiums, that we still have that money to spend, and it shouldn't be a problem. And so long as there's no hiccups, I mean, I don't really see any reason why we won't see both of them at the club.
This is what I was going to get at, the cash reserves. I mean, look, they're never going to spend them all. They're a business at the end of the day, and you should always have money in reserve for a rainy day. Not that we think they can get any rainier, but I mean, today it got rainier by them saying that the fans ain't going to be back in. To be honest, I'll be surprised if we're back this season now. So they're not going to spend all the reserves, but some cash reserves. So basically, I don't know if you know this. I might be telling you something you already know. Under the old loan agreement, whoever made the loan said you have to have X amount in reserve as insurance for us if anything goes tits up. Now that the debt's owed to Kroenke, not them, that isn't the case. We don't have to secure the loan against our own cash. I don't know how much it is. Jack's just said 160. I didn't think it was anywhere near that high, but obviously it's a significant amount of millions. But you're not going to spend all of it. So in theory, some of that cash is available. How much of it? Who knows? But obviously, I think there is, when the story comes out allowing them to spend some of their cash reserves, I think that was almost inevitable from the moment that the loan was taken over by KSE rather than from, as I said, I don't know who the loan was before, probably some investment bank that no one's ever heard of.
Okay, some questions on Twitter, and I was a bit slow putting them out this week, so we haven't got as many, but that's okay. We're filled in 50 minutes already, so we're on schedule, Daz. We're on schedule, buddy. At clockend_talk, you can add your questions and whatnot. Add them anytime. I don't really care. You don't have to wait for a thread, but usually, we will put a thread up after the game. Hack on Larson. I can't remember last game we played that bad. That wasn't even winning ugly. This is just pure shit and luck. Fucking hell, that was bad. I don't think that one single player had a good game at all. William looked 50. Saka, Xhaka, Laka had a touch. Geez, say that in a fucking mouthful. Had a touch like a brick, just to name a few. He goes on and says, I could drive Kolasinac, so whatever other club He said he wants to fight for his spot bullshit because he wants cash. But we are on performances like that, simply not good enough. Tony, anything on that?
I completely agree about the performance and how no player was good, and that kind of reflects on what I said with the 3-2-1. And I agree about Kolasinac. I think that, again, he wasn't good, but I think people are going over the top about how bad Kolasinac was, and he was bad, but he was probably only the same level as bad as pretty much the rest of the team. And then just because we know him as bad, people, I think, have gone over the top on it. But having said that, yeah, I mean, I still would happily sell him, and I'd happily give him a helping hand. There's rumours he's homesick. And you never know. Do you know, sometimes clubs make the players say, I want to stay and fight for my place, because if they go, no, I'm off, I don't want to be in this shithole, like we're seeing with Guendouzi, teams go, okay, we'll offer you 20p for him because you don't want to be there anyway. Like, it would just do you a favour to get rid of him. So don't always believe what you hear players say. And I know you might think, who are you talking on the podcast? But it's logical that clubs tell players, toe the party line, because otherwise you're actually fucking us up in not doing it.
MAA Gunner, question for later. Do you think Louise will play tomorrow? Yes or no, lads?
Yes.
Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will too. Frankie, I'm concerned the window is almost closed and we still have Guendouzi, Kolasinac, Mustafi, Chambers, Ozil, Macy, Holding, Tuera, Willock, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Eddie, the team of rejects.
Sorry. So let me just butt in, right? Eddie scored a winning goal in our most recent game. Reece scored against Liverpool in his last start. Chambers, before he got injured, was probably our best defender at the time by a country mile. And also, people could stress about the window all they like, but it's a fact that we need to get rid of players from that non-homegrown quota. And if we're gonna, let's say hypothetically speaking, tomorrow, and this is obviously not going to happen, but tomorrow we announce that we have signed Partey and Aouar, then all the clubs coming in for our players are going to know that we need to get rid of players, and then we're going to we'll probably lose a good 20-30% minimum on the transfer fee, because they'll see the fact that we need to sell them, or we just can't register them, and they'll waste away in the club. So from a perspective, there's no point.
They're not team of rejects. I don't know why he's mentioned team of rejects.
I think he's being unnecessarily negative.
Guendouzi, for me, okay, look, the reports he put in the transfer request and reports. Let me finish. Then reports that it didn't happen. But look, let's face it, Guendouzi is going and has to go. That's one we got to tick, isn't it? We're not calling these guys rejects, okay? Kolasinac, yes. Mustafi, yes. Chambers,
I don't think
Chambers. You don't think Mustafi? Okay.
The reports make no sense to me. He's out till probably the end of October. He's on foreign clubs, which is the only place he's linked, and can negotiate with him in January, agree to sign him, then offer us next to nothing, because they'll go, we've already agreed to sign him in a few months anyway. Our season ends mid-May, so if they've agreed in January, if someone offers you £1 million to take him for 4 months when he's going to cost you £60,000 a week in wages at that time, you're probably going to take him. And with him being out till probably the end of October, and then there's an international break in November, it makes I can't understand why a team would pay 7-8 million for him, and that's not a reflection of his ability, but just the circumstances.
What would you value him at based on how he was doing before he got injured? 15?
I'd be happy if I got 15.
Yeah, but as I said, when you look at the circumstances with he's out injured and he's only got less than a year left, as I say, I can't put a value on him because I don't see any logic in signing him now.
Chambers, I'm happy to keep Chambers. But
I can't understand any links because he's out injured for a long time. I know he's back running now, but he's not back.
Yeah,
he's
not back for a while. And I'm happy to keep him there. Like I don't get that one. Ozil, okay, let's face it. We've all said it here. I think every Arsenal fan is on the thing now. if Ozil stays, okay, he stays. He sits on the bench. He sits in his hotel room. He sits at his house or whatever, playing FIFA or whatnot. Just give the bloke away. Pay his wages, but let him go to Turkey or whatnot and just say, look, I know you guys can't afford the wages. I said it last week on the show. They should just, it's negativity in the club with the players. He's not, I know you guys talked about sponsors and shit, and I thought about that after last week's show. I don't know if the positives outweigh the negatives for me.
Do you reckon that him and Guendouzi will be in the squad tomorrow?
Well, if they're not, they're both gone. That's the end of them two.
I said that last week. Ozil done a positive post today in an Arsenal tip, so it's leading people to think.
Oh, he did a positive one yesterday, did he? What was his one the other day in a Real Madrid clip?
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't. There was always people that used to say to me the day before, "Oh, Ozil's playing because he's done this certain post on some form of social media. I'm not sure if it's Twitter or Insta." And apparently that was a giveaway, but apparently it's not anymore. I don't know, but I think he'll be involved.
It'd be interesting with Guendouzi because if I was Arteta, I'd probably play Guendouzi so then other clubs can see that maybe he is in the plan to then maybe increase as a potential offer we could get for him.
I think
or
a League Cup
negotiation standpoint.
No one.
Pardon?
I think a League Cup game fools absolutely no one, and you also run the risk of getting injured.
True. On the note of Guendouzi, what do you make of the reports about him and for Callum Hudson-Odoi? Because I mean, I would not take that.
Look, to me, it's the biggest load of bollocks. The Chelsea account in Saudi Arabia comes out of the blue and says there's something's going to be announced between Arsenal and Chelsea today or tomorrow. Well, we're now at tomorrow and nothing's been announced. And all that happened is every in the know, as soon as this random Saudi account said it, has gone, oh, I knew about that all along, and it's Guendouzi and Hudson-Odoi, or it's Guendouzi and Abraham, or it's Kante, or it's...
I mean, if I've got to be honest with you, if they gave us Kante for Guendouzi, they'd be just stupid. Hudson-Odoi is the most overrated young player, in my opinion, in English football. And Tammy Abraham, why would we want to try it? Nothing about it makes sense.
I would do it. I would do it for Hudson-Odoi. But the point remains, it's come from some random bloke. I think his account was even like CFC Saudi Arabia. Like, what the... But everyone, when I first saw it, I saw it, and then everyone was talking about it. So I thought, oh, he must have got it. Like, I've seen this Saudi account, and I thought, oh, he must have got it from someone really reliable, the amount everyone's talking about it. And then I just couldn't find it anywhere. And then all I could see was in the know saying, yeah, everyone knows about that. It's
actually funny. Tomorrow. It's actually funny how many Twitter accounts, right, will pipe up like with all of this. And the fact of the matter is this, is that it's just, they actually make it up for fun. Like, it's actually ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
That comes up. Like, some of the stuff you read on that social, and the people think because they've got X amount of followers, they must be legit. Honestly, the amount of probably just little kids in where just fuck knows where, it's baffling because honestly, they don't even understand the business structure of the club. They get it wrong. Like, when they talk numbers, they don't understand how a deal would even be done to even say something like that. Like, it's not even well thought through. It's just stupid. It's naive.
Yeah, it's just everyone fucking adding saying this is gospel when you search it back, and apparently I read that account is a sports lawyer, and why would he put his reputation on the line because he could potentially get sacked for it? One, how do you know he's a sports lawyer? I could tell you I'm a sports lawyer.
Well, hang on. Doesn't Nexter say he's a sports writer because he once got paid for an article once upon a time which he made himself on his own website that he created?
I didn't actually get paid if he got paid. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, people who believe, oh, it's a sports lawyer and he could get sacked for it. Well, if it's not his client, he couldn't get sacked for it. And if it is his client, he could get sacked for it. But he'd be sacked for saying it regardless of whether it's true or not, because client confidentiality. And then how do you know he's a sports lawyer? Like, it's just bullshit.
I mean, it's not difficult to write sports lawyer in your bio.
It might be real, but the amount of credit everyone's giving it just straight off the bat is unbelievable.
Marble Halls says Indicator TV. Indicator
TV Indicator TV comes with a snap box.
Like, at the end of the day, you can't believe any of these social media things saying, and anyone who's I just shake me out. I laugh. I just laugh. Cracks me up. Okay, Matt Macy. Yes, he's got to go. That's one.
He's 26 or something ridiculous.
Yeah. I've seen that the other day. I'm trying to get through this list. Torreira, reports on him is going. We heard Atletico Madrid, if you believe Twitter.
To be
That's
fair,
an
that
odd
one does look relatively legitimate. That's coming from Spanish based journalists and press.
Oh, that's them. That's them. Are they Spanish or? Yeah, I see them with their little tick on it, and I think, who the fuck are these lads? They pop up all over the place. Fabio something.
What, Fabrizio Romano? He's probably the biggest
Some
Twitter.
fucking. I don't know. I see them, and I think I wonder if because they got a blue tick, are they legit? It cracks me up.
I mean, that in theory.
To Willock. What are we going to do?
I'd
with
loan
Willock?
him out. If we sign those two midfielders, I'd loan Willock out. I don't
Smith
see him
Rowe
coming
is
in.
the next. Yeah, okay. Smith
I'd
Rowe.
probably keep Emil for the Europa League if I've got to be honest with you. I think he could do a good job there. I'd like to see him for half a season and then reevaluate that in January.
I know Tony's all in on Smith Rowe. Nelson we discussed, and Eddie. I think Eddie
100% should stay at this club.
Yeah, he has to stay. So.
You know what? If we had another striker, I would loan him out for Premier League game time. But we don't.
Yeah,
so in the current situation, he has to. I mean, it's not even a question. He has to stay. But I think actually ideal for his progression would be a Premier League club where he gets minutes.
His record off the bench though is incredibly good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was actually funny where Sky Sports tweeted that Palace had a bid for Brewster, and the Palace chairman tweeted him back then, like, remove this, it's false. They're talking about 26, 27 million. And you're like, I feel like we wouldn't get 5 million for Eddie, and he's 3 years ahead of Brewster.
I think they're the same age.
No, Brewster's younger.
I don't know.
No, he's not. Brewster's 20. It's a myth that Brewster's a kid.
It's a myth. We'll have a look. Honestly, have a look while I read these out.
He's 20. He's two. I think he's a day or two older than me.
Well, someone Google that shit. Archie says Chambers, Socrates, Kolasinac, he thinks they will leave, and Chambers on loan. I honestly don't know with Chambers, as you said.
But again, Chambers is injured. He might go on loan in January, but why is someone going to cover his wages for 2 months when he can't play?
On Twitter,
Eddie Nketiah is 11 months older than Brewster. The scouts say he's the next big thing in football.
We'll see. These guys are having a conversation on Twitter. Did you just fucking include Eddie in your team of rejects? Frankie. Yes, I did. Oh, God, Jesus. Fuck. See, don't read Twitter, boys. Don't read it.
Maybe no offense, but maybe the guy asking the question should be in the reject list if he thinks Eddie should be there.
Frankie, I've got to have a look at his profile now. Frankie.
He included everyone: Young, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Eddie. Like, I think he wants fully formed players or no one.
Well, that's just elitist and stupid. No, not in a rude way, but like, these players need to be given a chance to become something, and I'd much rather give a player a chance than spend 30 million on a player who's not going to be starting.
Yeah, I mean, look, by that list this time last year, Saka would have been on it. So
yeah, that's right. Frankie's a Celtic fan. There you go. Say no fucking more.
And Martinelli, Tony.
Well, Martinelli would only just sign. He might have given him 2 weeks to prove himself.
Well, that's it. That's all the questions, lads.
There's a lot more on here.
You got more? I just want to touch quickly while you're digging that up, because I've obviously missed some. I thought I went through them all. We did sign a new goalkeeper, young Viking bloke from Iceland. So,
can I just quickly?
Know nothing about him.
On the note of Runnison, I mean, I couldn't tell you anything about him as a keeper, but when I look at that signing, what it shouts to me is that if it was such an issue to offload our non-homegrown players to bring in players like Partey and Aouar, then we would not be spending £1 million on a non-homegrown goalkeeper. We would find someone within the country to do a job for you. We wouldn't waste that homegrown space on a keeper for £1 million, I don't think, unless we knew we would be getting rid of other players. So I wouldn't be worried about the quota list. I mean, it only looks to me as if the club are confident they can offload based on that.
You know, we bought this young bloke for $1 million, and where'd he come from? The French league, did he?
Yeah.
Or
Came
where was
from
he? Yeah,
Dijon.
okay.
Mustard.
Yeah, Dijon mustard. How would Macy feel?
Macy wants to leave as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, but like seriously, he's sitting there and he's going,
Away.
he's
We're
sitting
not
there
a charity.
going,
If you're
I'm
not good
fucking,
enough, you're not staying.
I'm like, he must be that bad, eh? The poor bastard. Like,
He's
how
not
did
that
he
bad.
ever?
We are one of the
He's on-
biggest clubs in England.
Oh,
Not just
yeah,
money
but
as well.
he must be like I just I don't know. I don't like. I
The
just
thing
think
is, you might not remember them, as you might do, but there's a lot better keepers than him that have made a career as a third choice keeper. Like Richard
Yeah.
Wright was at City for years. Stuart, like
You could argue Martinez,
yeah, I mean,
Vito Manoni,
because he kept going out on loan. You wanted to be a first choice keeper. There's like Richard Wright, Stuart
Manoni.
Taylor. I think Stuart Taylor played something like 37 games in his career. Like, but he won the league 15 times because he was at City's 57th choice. Chelsea had one as well. Was it Euro? Schwarzer was at the end of his career, but
Yeah, Schwarzer won the league.
3
for Chelsea.
years he was
Yeah, Schwarzer, mate. Hey,
was
whoa! You fucking putting him in the
no, the last 2 or 3
flute of
years
his career.
being the third choice.
Yeah, no, he's
And look at
he's
Joe
one
Hart
of-
now, to bring up another example. He was England #1 3 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now he's been third choice at Burnley and now he's third choice at Tottenham. There's a career to be had in being a third choice keeper. So don't feel sorry. There's a lot better.
Good, yeah.
Didn't Vito Manoni? He was our third choice and went on to be a Premier League goalkeeper. Like for a fact, as in a first choice keeper, but it was for Sunderland, so it doesn't really count.
What else we got? You got other stuff in here, Tony, have you?
Yeah, so Rick said the possibility of Xhaka being sold if Partey and Al are both coming in, as he may be surplus to remote requirements. Not for me. We need at least 4 centre midfielders that you'd be happy to start, especially if we are going to play a 4-3-3 and with the amount of competition we've got. So I think they're next to 0 chance. I mean, I think there is absolute 0 chance if he goes.
Okay.
MAA Gunner, do you think Aouar will play left forward if we stick with 3-4-3 and Uber goes up top? No. I think he will naturally take up that position, but he'll be allowed to roam. I think if we go 4-2-3-1 with Aubameyang left or 4-3-3, whatever way you want to look at it, he'll naturally drift to the left and Aubameyang will tuck in central, similar to how he does with the back 5. But I think actually position-wise, he'll stay in the middle of the pitch. I don't know if either of you have anything to add on that.
No, your mic is very hard, so I'm struggling to even hear you, to be honest.
It was very crackly.
Yeah. I was trying to read the question. Look for the question.
MAA. Do you think
MAA, was it?
Do you know when we first done this, you allowed me to select the questions so I could put them on screen, but you've taken that power away from me. So now
What do you mean? You haven't got that power no more?
No, first week I did, and ever since you've gone, no, fuck you.
Oh. How the fuck did that happen? I don't know. You got to talk to me, mate. You got to tell me this shit. We can't be having these fucking domestics on live, mate. Come on.
Yeah, we can. It's the best bit.
You got to sort this shit out in the background.
Well, you didn't allow us. You kept us backstage.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, it was just
I'll
for
have a
his
look.
really cool countdown, which made no sense.
No, because what happens, I was watching, why I thought, I've got to do a countdown, because, I've seen the same, same old Arsenal doing it. I thought, how them fucking cheat cunts doing countdowns now? So I was like, we need a countdown, because you just can't, like, people on YouTube are sitting there waiting, and then all of a sudden, boom, fucking screen pops up, and you got a bloke like Addy sitting, and that's not a good look on your TV, let me tell you. You've got his ugly head pop up, and it's like, oh shit,
And then
they're
all
online.
avatars in my blank.
And then all these avatars, and then your little fucking blank shit. Oh, you can't even work out an
I
avatar.
can never seem to
like
upload a picture onto it. I don't understand. It never works.
So I thought I'd do a countdown and allow people a couple of minutes to make a coffee, have a wank, and come back and watch us. So, yeah. 2 minutes, that's plenty of time.
I love how that escalated so quickly.
So Marble Halls had a question. I'm surprised Socrates Holding haven't had firm bids yet. I don't know if you want to put that up. Socrates hasn't trained since we've been back. I don't know if he's actually injured or if there's a move agreed elsewhere. I don't know what's going on.
Wasn't it rumoured to be Napoli?
Yeah, that was the rumours. Koulibaly goes, but he hasn't trained at all. Holding has had offers, and Arsenal said they're keeping him.
Okay. I was just trying to play around to work out how I can get you to do that, but anyway, obviously I can't. So, what else you got? Archie, I got one here. Archie says, "Why would Chelsea want Guendouzi? Let's be real. Did we mention
Because some
that?
Arab bloke said it. Nothing
Yeah.
against Arabs. He could have been from Europe or America, but that he happened to be Arab.
Let's talk about these Arabs for a second, right? No offense. I'm not religious. I'm not getting. So I'm gonna tread very carefully. But how come everyone's believing this like AFC Bell bloke? Because
To be fair, he does come across bloody confident.
very confident. Like,
No, like if I got to be honest, I look, the way he talks about it, and there's too much, in my opinion, he goes into too much detail for it to be a lie.
so is that all I got to do?
That's my perspective on it. Like he's very.
He goes right into detail, eh?
Yeah, but the only problem is also I would love to know how it really translates because I can only ever read his tweets based on the Twitter's automatic translator.
Yeah, they're terrible at times too. It leaves the ifs and stuff out. You know, the ifs and buts.
I mean, for like the first 3 months of the whole saga, they were calling him Thomas Barthy.
Yeah, it still does sometimes.
So you reckon, like, and I can tell you, if it party does come, this bloke's account is gonna go.
Yeah, but it's not
through the
because
roof.
I think what this is what I like about him. He doesn't claim to be an ITK. He just claims to know about this one particular deal.
For me, you just hit the nail on the head. How often have I said on here that I fully believe they can exist if they might know someone on that side, but it's very rare you get someone who knows everything about everything.
Like, do you remember that Kiki Marin? When Emery was here, he was very early on a lot, but then as soon as Emery went, he was miles off and then started cussing the board and now has a massive vendetta against Raul Sanlehi.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So for me, if Bell had been talking about this deal, that deal, another deal, blah blah blah, I thought, are you sure? But when you're just on one deal, I'm not saying he's the new Messiah, and I definitely believe him. But for me, that comes across a lot more legitimate.
Archie said AFC Bell's not an ITK. Ornstein confirmed he's legit. Like,
I didn't actually see. I saw someone say the other day that Ornstein retweeted him or something and said like, "Oh, my last retweet is right." Or I don't know. I don't know if he actually came out and said. Archie can correct me if he knows better than me.
Can I just say that there is no way, right, that David Ornstein would have endorsed the AFC belt because I'll tell you this now. I remember when I was doing all the Aubameyang stuff. Ornstein was such a bellend about it. Like,
yeah, but I
the
disagree
day
with
Aubameyang
you,
signed, I went to shake his hand and he recognised that he was so often rude up himself.
Oh yeah, he probably is. But like, what I'm getting, like, okay, a few years ago, Ornstein was the bee's knees of Arsenal transfers. Right before that, it was before that it was what's that other bloke's name?
Oh,
that other
John Cross.
Yeah. I interviewed him. That's right.
I've blocked him, so he doesn't come up on my timeline.
Anyway, what I'm getting at is, prior to that, I was like, yeah, Ornstein. Yeah, okay. If he says it, it seems like pretty true, right? It's going to happen. The last 12 months or something, he's really pumping that. Is it The Athletic?
Yeah,
you know, where you subscribe to stuff, and it looks like he's more of a journalist on that side of things and doing podcasts and stuff.
I think what happened, Tez, was the way I looked at Ornstein before was that he was very much like a club mouthpiece. So like when the club wanted to put something out that was like just to confirm something, Ornstein would be the guy that they used because I think they had like a tight relationship. Obviously, he was with the BBC.
He's not with the BBC no more.
So I think after Gazida's left, he was a bit more off the pace with Arsenal, and his biggest following at the time was obviously Arsenal then. And I think he started The Athletic, which is a subscription-based sports only.
He didn't start it. They obviously recruited him for the Arsenal stuff.
I thought he was one of the founders.
No. It's a couple of blokes in America. I think they were doing a lot of NFL stuff and American sports, and then they wanted to come into football or European football and stuff like that. But so they type of headhunted blokes like Ornstein,
Lawrence.
and then
They just money.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
what happened is that I remember last year Ornstein said that we were not after Pepe. We didn't want him. We couldn't afford him, and it would never happen. And a month later, Nicolas Pepe was in an Arsenal shirt. So, I mean, I think that says it all.
But you're right. But he was only ever a confirmer, and I still think he is. Like, he will tell you about something 4 hours before it's announced, and he did with Pepe. But a month before or 2 weeks before, he has pretty much always been useless, and he was then. But that time, he decided to put his neck on the line, as a lot of journalists did, because they thought, oh, it's a ridiculous idea that Arsenal could get him. Because Charles Watts, who most people would say is very reliable, and I don't know if he is in a transfer sense, but I don't know him, but I like him the way he writes, what he says. He's usually straight to the point. He said exactly the same thing. No way on earth Arsenal can get Pepe. I think pretty much every journalist said it. So Ornstein, to me, he's not changed. He will tell you about something in the last few hours. That's in general what he's always been. But okay. Archie's just said that Ornstein said the words about AFC Bell on the video, so it's there for everyone.
Okay.
Said I heard that he'd retweeted him and said this is legit information or something. But if he's actually said it, then it is what it is. I can't debunk that.
Yeah. Marble Halls TV said Romano.
Yeah, but
has about who is this Romano? Can tag me into him.
But the thing is, he's always going to have more followers because he does every club in Europe. So he's like,
pretty legit though.
Yeah, he gets it. He's not always right, but the vast majority.
Would you class him as an ITK or a journalist?
I think he is a journalist. Doesn't he work for Sky Italy?
No, I know, but his account, he's so transfer orientated. But then he's also the same. Like, I don't feel like he comes out and ever says anything. I think he's a bit like Ornstein, that he's more of a confirmer.
Yeah, maybe he's a bit earlier than Ornstein in general, but he, because he does every team. So Ornstein, you look at when he tweets about another team, even like, because when he was at BBC, he was like London correspondent, so it's mainly Arsenal, but there was some Tottenham stuff and a little bit of Chelsea. Now, obviously, the Athletic, he does a bit of everything, but if he tweets anything that's non-Arsenal, all the replies are like, "Come on, mate! Like, we only want Arsenal news here." Whereas Fabrizio doesn't get that; he gets every club. Like, you look at the replies to him, and they're never about what he says. So he could say party to Arsenal, and the reply would be someone would go, "What about Man United? What about Liverpool? What about blah blah blah?" So he's naturally going to have more followers because he'll have Napoli fans and he'll have Arsenal fans. Whereas Ornstein has Arsenal and a sprinkling of a few other clubs.
On that note, did you see the pictures in the Boris Johnson coronavirus lockdown thing today with like loads of Arsenal fans just going to announce Partey an hour?
Yeah, So I don't know if you've seen it. As the government,
I haven't seen it.
We're doing a speech at whatever time, 7:00, and all the replies were announce Partey.
Marble Halls TV, Gunner Blog, James Nicholas and Amy Lawrence do the Arsenal stuff. He's talking about the Athletic. I went to subscribe to that.
It's only £1 a month in the next 7 months or something here.
Yeah, because it dropped down to like 50%. And I thought I got the trial and there's some good articles on it. I'll tell you what, it's a nice app too on the iPad. So.
Well, I mean, they've got very, very well-regarded journalists for their respected areas.
Yeah. That's what they did. They headhunted people for that role, and you want to have a decent read. So, there's a bloke that I was following. I'm just looking. Nicola Schira.
I think he's another one of those foreign journalists.
Yeah, I can't keep up with him.
He's got a blue tick, doesn't he?
Reliable.
I don't know. I was just no, he doesn't have a blue tick, but I don't know if he's reliable or not. He speaks in Italy and okay. So, okay, tag me in at Gunatez. If this Romano and I'm too lazy to look at shit, but
it's the one you said earlier, it's Fabrizio.
Oh, maybe I do follow him, man. He probably comes up on my feed.
But you mentioned him earlier.
He's the guy that always says, "Here we go."
Yeah, that's when the deal's like done.
Yeah, okay, I probably do follow him then. Yeah,
it's
probably
his
do.
Catchphrase.
Yeah, okay. No, oh, good. I'll have a look. Okay, boys, hour and 20 minutes. I'm happy. You happy?
Yep.
Yep. Just quickly, Jack, you wanted to discuss Leicester game. Sorry, Tony. Just quickly, quick predictions, Jack, and quick lineup prediction because the boys aren't going to do a preview on that.
Runnison in goal. Back five of Bellerin, Louise, Gabriel, Saliba. Maitland-Niles left wing back. Then we'll have the most absolute dog shit midfield, in my opinion, of El Neni and Ceballos, which just won't work, and we'll end up having to bring Xhaka on at half time. And then I reckon we'll go a front three of something along the lines of maybe Eddie, Saka, Pepe. I feel
Tony?
like we'll go relatively strong because it's Leicester.
Well, this is what's strange. I think if you'd have asked me a few days ago, I would have said pretty much what you've just said, maybe a bit weaker in defence. But all the reports coming out, I don't want to say I've heard because it makes it sound ITK. I'm not, but everything I've heard coming from journalists and whatnot say we're going quite strong. Bookies have got us quite strong, well, much lower odds than we should be going to Leicester. So from what I'm hearing, I think we'll go stronger than that. But don't ask me what particular players. I think the defence you've probably got pretty much spot on. I wouldn't be, do you know, like Sheffield United in the FA Cup where we basically went full strength bar Aubameyang? I think it would be closer to that than what Jack just said, but that's only based on what I'm hearing.
Just quickly, so on let's say that I'm not saying we're going to win tomorrow at all, but let's say we do. What the hell do we do about next week?
Well, they've not confirmed the date. I want them to give us Monday, Wednesday up in Liverpool because then we don't have to come back. If they give us Monday, Thursday, they'll come back.
They can't give us Monday, Wednesday, surely.
I'd prefer it. Because we've got a Saturday Premier League, so we're going to have a 2-day gap anyway. So we've either got to play Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So either way, there's going to be a 2-day gap. I'd prefer Monday, Wednesday. The players don't have to come back down, or the ones that are not playing can come back down and have their day off, and the other ones.
Well, no, but then do you go full pelt against Liverpool? Do you expect them to play there?
In the league, you do, and you go slightly weaker and give some players a few days off.
Archie says Arteta said he's taking it serious, boys.
Yeah, I don't think
he won it 3 years in a row.
But I think it'll be close.
I just had a look because you mentioned Bookie, Tony, so I'm like, yeah, Bookie, yeah, give me a look at that shit. And I know my odds are different to you. Arsenal are just favourites, $2.50. Leicester City at $2.90. So I don't know what it is over.
Yeah, it was similar when
it's close.
We were away against that finished above us, and everyone was expecting us to play a weakened team, and that ain't the odds of a team that are going weak.
No.
That's what I was saying. Like,
yeah. To me, that says the bookies aren't really sure. Like, usually Arsenal are around the $1.75 and
not away
Leicester
to
around
Leicester.
the
Not away to
$3.
Leicester.
Okay, and it must be said very quickly before I forget that for anyone who wants to watch the game tomorrow, because Sky thought it'd be a wise idea to show Fleetwood Everton instead, which is just ridiculous. Our game is available for £10 as a match pass on the official Carabao Cup EFL website.
Apparently, it's terrible.
Hang on, that's for the poor simpletons in fucking England, right? In Australia.
You can fuck off. You don't even get the Carabao Cup.
No, we do now, and it's available on BN Sports, KO Sports, and BN Connect. Nah, well, I don't think we did, because I could never find it. So
worth a stream, isn't it? Instead of paying for that.
And I'm not streaming. I hate streaming. If I've got to stream it with some fucking 4,000 gambling ads and pop-ups, I'm not interested.
But my point is, if you're going to charge me to stream it, I'm just going to stream it for free. Like, I hate streaming with a passion. When all my mates say, "Oh, why'd you pay for this package? You can just stream it for free." Fuck off. I hate
watching. I'm happy to pay whatever it is.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah. But if my option is stream it and pay for it, or stream it for free, believe me, I'm going for free.
It's ridiculous because they're charging a tenner, and that's what we charge for Carabao Cup tickets for home games.
Yeah, they've set a price across everyone. It's because, and it doesn't affect Leicester so much. It's because it's the gate receipts basically. So Leyton Orient, if their game's not rescheduled, which it doesn't look like it's going to be, it's cost them 100k today.
Apparently Spurs are going to cover that.
Yeah, that's what they've said. But they're borrowing money from the government, so fuck no about it.
Let's be real, they're full of shit when it comes to money.
So Darren and the crew, I've got to speak to them. Darren, Max, and Liam. They're going to cover the Leicester Arsenal review, and they're also going to preview the Liverpool Arsenal game, and that will more than likely be on Thursday. We'll be back same time, same place next week.
Are we doing the earlier slot again next week?
Oh, we'll try. Yeah, the only reason I said that, my kids are on holidays, so I'm like, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I could probably go earlier on Wednesdays. So, yeah, if that suits you, because I know you got dates and stuff to get to, so it all works around you, buddy.
I'm going to be late because I'm having sushi. They don't cook it.
Well, you know what? I was thought the same. He texted and said, I'm going to be late. I'm having sushi.
You said
I don't even have to cook sushi.
We were only meant to be 25 minutes in. I got a text me like, can we do it at 10? I'm like, I can't fucking make it back home for 10.
Mate, I'll lob up to a sushi joint. I'm in and out of the joint by fucking 10 minutes all over. Smash it down, get out. Archie said it's on BN Sports, so free then, with a little wink. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not getting involved in that shit. That sounds a bit sus, Archie. Okay, boys, been a pleasure. Thank you. See you next week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can follow us at @clock_talk. We go live on YouTube, Facebook, and our Twitter twice a week now with previews and reviews. So thanks, boys. See you next week.